Hello, hello. Good evening. What's going on, Future Wives Club? Welcome to Monday, May 8th. Welcome to the discussion that we're going to have tonight. Right now, I'm literally just opening up the Facebook so that I can try to catch some more of the comments as they come in because often the ones that are on Facebook I can't get to, so I'm hoping to be able to catch some more of those today. We'll see how it goes. So, I want to talk about trophy husbands. I want to have a conversation about this topic because to be honest, I think I've heard a lot about trophy wives. And there was a certain speaker who I will not name, nor will I name the vocation of, who went on record this past week having this whole spiel about how a man wants a woman to, you know, hold on to her looks, not let herself go, how visually stimulated men are. And in reality, women are visually stimulated too. Women are also attracted to those things. If anybody's woman has led him to believe that she doesn't notice when a handsome man is nearby, she is misleading him. I'm sorry. You might choose not to give yourself to lusting after some dude just because you see him. But the idea that women are not visually stimulated is completely false. And I want to talk a little bit about what 90s hip hop and R&B has done to us as it relates to having trophy husbands and trophy wives. We got to have this discussion right now. So, I invite you to be real with me for just a moment and let's get into this, okay? I don't know how many of you grew up on MTV. I realize that's a past thing right now. Okay, I'm giving away my age. But if you grew up on MTV or BT and you remember the music videos that some of us grew up watching, the lyrics of those songs have had a huge impact on how we see relationships today. Anybody who thinks that what you watch and what you kind of consume in media, movies, music, books, articles doesn't have anything to do with the way that you're processing your relationships today, I want to give you a wake up call. Let me tell you something. Everything you take in is impacting what you put out. We can only release that which we're full of. So, when it comes to the Future Wives Club and it comes to the concept of a trophy husband, I want to argue, I'm putting forth my thesis today. I'm putting forth my thesis today that there are also trophy husbands, just like there are trophy wives. And that if if you pay attention to what it is that women were taught to do and want, we were set up for some foul stuff. There's a gentleman whose name I can't remember right now. I asked my husband for it. If he can remember, I told him to text it to me. There's this guy who has a whole following, this middle-aged African American dude, very charismatic speaker. But his whole deal is he's talking to women about how to land a wealthy man. He calls them something like elite men or top men or something. And his whole thesis is only 10% of men make six figures a year or more. And this is what you have to do to attract a six-figure man. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I watched a few of his videos. Sometimes I was baffled because I felt like he was like painfully honest with women that were on there. And people made short videos out of his interviews because sometimes it almost seemed like he was slapping ladies in the face. Now, I'm not, even if I get his name and if my husband texts it to me, I will share it with you. I'm not saying like this dude is a guru, you know what I mean? Go listen to him. I'm not saying that. But I will say this, he had a few good points. My man actually was accurate about the kind of relationships that he was talking about. What do I mean? I mean that in cultures throughout the world for a very long time, it has been put forth that a woman should look for a man who is not only fit and strong, healthy, but also who can provide an abundance far more than she actually needs, who can provide a fancy car, a big house, who can, um, then pay her all kinds of attention after working whatever that long day is, then lay it out in the bedroom and be there for his kids. We have a trophy husband that a lot of women have in mind. Yeah. And that trophy husband is supposed to be attached to, though, a trophy wife, right? So if you were watching movies or videos when you were young, you saw this man. He was, like I said, he was handsome, fit, virile, made a lot of money, had enough to throw around, right? And he was there. And we imagine he was also tender toward his woman, pursued her, took her out on dates, there for his children, a good father, all these things that we added in there, which aren't necessarily what was being put forth. And you saw him dancing around in the video, or in paparazzi or whatever, with a certain kind of woman. And that woman was also beautiful, a 10 in the face, perfect frame, wearing usually pretty seductive and very expensive clothing. And so there's a whole generation of girls, especially people who were in like major center cities, who grew up looking at this image that this is the picture of success, right? That you would be like this really cute woman, that's where, you put on whatever, all the tight clothes, all the weaves, the nail, everything that you have to do to be this woman. And that there's a whole there's a whole culture out there, there's a whole narrative that has to be addressed if we want to get to healthy relationships, that a woman should be this trophy, this picture of physical beauty, and, if possible, poise, that stands well next to this man who is making all the money and making all the moves, and, handsome and strong and doing all these things. Man, can I peel that back tonight? You guys, if I put a 90s music video in front of you today and I said, tell me, you guys, is this the picture of a healthy marriage? Now, don't get me wrong. I was with everybody else. I loved Pac. I loved Biggie. I was up there, big pimping with Jay-Z, all the things. Like, I'm not judging, but I'm saying if we look back at like pop culture over the past few decades, what many of us grew up on in the 2000s, right, as well, what we see there is money, flashy things, expensive things, women who look like models but dress provocatively, and men who throw their money around. And this is put forth as an image. But would any of you look at that and say that's the picture of a healthy marriage? I hope not. Probably not. But those are still the pieces of data that are informing a lot of our decisions today. So as somebody who is in a relationship that you're hoping turns into a marriage, or in a new marriage, or who's still looking for someone, do you still have a trophy husband in your mind that's an unrealistic representation of what a man should be? I'm gonna let you think about it for like 2 seconds. Go ahead. I got you, girl. Go ahead and think about it. Do you still have a picture in your mind of this man who comes in, throwing the money around, and requires you to look a certain way? Here's the thing: as women, with the rise of feminism, which there are some tenets that I'm all about, and I'm also for femininity, right? I'm for equity, but I'm also for femininity, and I don't think those two things have to be opposed. That's my opinion. That's my position on that. But we're very much more vocal these days to say, hey, you shouldn't objectify a human being. We shouldn't reduce a woman down to what she physically appears to be. I hope that you know that if you have bought into this image that a woman's primary goal is to look great and stand next to this man and make him look better as she walks through, that you understand there's going to come a day, probably somewhere around 30, maybe a little older, if your melanin's popping, if you have really great genes. There's going to come a day where all of a sudden the whole world is going to expect you to know something more than how to look cute. Let me tell you something, ladies, that day comes like a smack in the face when it first gets there. Like, wait a minute, my whole life I've been told all I have to do is keep my nails done and keep my toes pretty and make sure my hair looks good and that I know all the trendy things and I know how to have fun. Yeah. And dress cute. And you're told that that's what you need to do. That's your contribution. And then all of a sudden, there will come a day when you are expected to be contributing more than that, or else your status is diminished and is becoming obsolete. That is terrible. Listen, that is the foul truth of a certain culture and a certain mindset. There comes an age where if you didn't learn an amazing skill, if you didn't start a business, if you didn't build a family, perhaps if you didn't do something of substance other than look cute, all of a sudden this timer goes off, and you were expected to have been sewing into that, investing into it, developing it the whole time. So I always encourage young girls, hey, who are you? Develop your identity, not just your looks. Because there's a whole culture that'll tell you to focus on your looks only. And don't get me wrong, it's look, you can tell I'm wearing makeup right now. I mean, clearly, like I got like super bright lipstick on today and super like shiny too. But but at the same time, I also have my degrees. I also have my career, right? I'm investing. I'm also invested in personal development, spiritual development, a family, kids, a husband, the whole thing. It takes a lot. And this is not about me being a model or any other woman being what you should aspire to. But hear me, my love. Do not buy into the thought that all you have to do is work on your looks. And that's going to land you the man, that's going to land you the relationship. Yeah, this is brother, and I really can't think of his name, but his name is Kevin Samuels. Yo, my husband sent it to me. Yo, his videos, literally, I think he nails the culture that he's referring to, which is a culture where women are taught, listen, I was taught to be more or less a gold digger, right? To maintain my value at a certain level so that I could land a certain kind of man. And if you marry one, then you're set for life. But the thing is, those men that are viewed that way, right? Those big spenders, what we used to call them, ballers and shot callers back in the day. Okay. Those guys are also looking for a very specific woman. They were looking for the video chick as well, right? And the whole issue with this is that, God, I'm gonna say something that's so hard. Can I tell you something that's hard? Like, it's shameful that it's true, but it is true, and we have to deal with it and make wiser choices. If we buy into a mindset where the most valuable thing a man can be is wealthy, and the most valuable thing a woman can be is sexy, then women are automatically losing in this situation, because you look up and at age 50, he's probably wealthiest that he's ever been. But she can't go back and be 25 again. She has to have value in something else. He has to value her as who she is, as his partner, as his companion, as maybe even a business partner, as the one who holds him down. But it's not going to be because she is sexier than the 25-year-old if he's specifically only looking for that same physical image. Because that 50-year-old can still go back and get another 25-year-old. And a lot of men do. A lot of men shake the wife of their youth, shake the partner of their youth, call themselves upgrading themselves, move on to another 25-year-old because they're still holding that image in mind. That is a game that we can't afford to play. That's a game we cannot even afford to play. As women, we need to realize, though, if we are also doing the same thing to men as what we don't want them to do to women. So do you still have an image of a man in your mind that matches that old big baller shot caller image when you don't want to be held to being a video girl until you're 50 or 60 or 70 years old? Well, by the way, which would be ridiculous. So here's the thing. I gotta say, if the man who wants to be the man in that way wants a 25-year-old and the 25-year-old just wants to be set, then they're kind of set for each other. They're kind of made for each other. But what's really sad about that situation is, Can I just talk? I mean, you know what I mean? Can we just talk about it? What's really sad about that situation is this man has spent his whole life developing his legacy. And while a girl might fulfill the appearance of what he was shooting for, she's not necessarily a helper comparable to him. She can't come in like the first wife could. She's not going to be the one that was there with him through the last 10, 15, 20 years, building, making it work. See, the partnership that he could have had, if the priority had been love, sustainability, satisfaction in a relationship, having somebody that was ride or die, like those things can't be bought. So even though he might be able to give somebody with the look that he wants, the lifestyle that she wants, the likelihood that he's going to also find that partner that can get into the deep with him, like in his soul, like be his ride or die, is decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. Now, maybe he doesn't want that, and that's okay. But when I look at that image of how you as a woman can maximize your curves and your looks while you still have enough of them to secure some wealthy dude, and then you were only looking for wealth and he was only looking for curves, man, but where's like the love and the happiness in that? So I say that to say there are many handsome, wealthy men who are looking for love. I hope. I don't know. I assume I know some, so I'm assuming there's more. And there are many beautiful, sexy, curvaceous women, 10 in the face, all that, who are also looking for love. And those things don't disqualify us. But if we buy into this culture that says that a woman is selling her sexy and a man is bringing his cash to the table, then we are shortchanging ourselves and not setting ourselves up for what God was talking about when he said man and woman should become one flesh. When he gave us a vision of mating for life, it was not only if he has a six pack and six figures in the bank account. It was not only if she had a six pack and you know perfect eyes or hair to her waist or a certain kind of curve in this or that place. I mean, those things are certainly enjoyable, but we want to bring it down to something more real than that. So I'm talking on a very basic level today. I just want to hit that cultural idea and bring it back to the future wives and say, all right, given you should be attractive because physical attraction is a part of this. This is the context for healthy sexual energies and a healthy sexual life is marriage. You should be attracted to him, he should be attracted to you. So yes, do hit the gym, you know what I'm saying? Do get your sexy on, do make sure you have all that in check. Yes, but make sure you're offering a lot more than that, because men, real men who are ready for marriage, are not only looking for that. The kind of men who are ready to build a life, build a household, build a family are really looking for someone who, one, sees the potential in him, that will sustainably be a source of support, which is why I believe the Bible says to respect wives, respect your husbands. It is about the function that we're playing in marriage, and that he should be in leadership. You got to respect that leadership, or else the unit doesn't function. But it also has to do with him needing to see that admiration and respect, him needing to see that you believe in him for great things. That's something that a man who's looking to build a house and a family is looking for in a woman's eyes. He wants to see that she can see the potential in him and believe in him. And he wants to know that she's going to be loyal no matter what. Now, I'm not talking about the music video dude anymore. I'm talking about the men who are walking around looking for a real one, looking to actually get a wife and get married. He may not have a six pack whatsoever, and he may not have six figures. But here's the thing, we have to prioritize what it is we want. So I'm not saying, oh, you should settle. I'm saying, oh, you should review your list of priorities and make sure that they are correct, that they are actually going to lead you to something healthy and sustainable and flourishing and satisfying, and not just be a reflection of the music videos you watched when you were a little girl. There is a such thing. I believe there is a such thing as a trophy husband. And that this is what it is. Um that this is what it's about. So, man, I just want to say that You guys are fresh. And I also want to say, what up, Keisha girl? I see you commenting. I love you. You the best. You the realest. You the realest all over the place. Um you the realest. Yeah, I'm looking forward to coming back next week as we get ready to wrap down tonight. Next week, we're going to have a special guest, Christina Vidal Mitchell, is going to come on and share her testimony. The fact that it's possible to actually to find someone appealing and wonderful and desirable, and to actually honor God in the process of leading up to marriage. It's important. She's got married a lot more recently than I have, maybe within the last, I don't know, 3, 5 years. So I think it's great for her to come on and she's going to share what her testimony is, what her story was with everyone. And hopefully it's really encouraging. I realized I got married back in 2006. So so some people might think my testimony of how to honor God and how to honor the requirements of the scripture, how to keep sexually pure even while you're pursuing marriage, that is inspiring. I feel like it was more inspiring years ago and it's less inspiring the longer I've been married, because people go, oh, that doesn't happen anymore. But I'm gonna tell you something. That's what people were saying when I did it then in 2006. Oh, what? This is 2000. This is 2000 anything. People don't wait anymore. But I'm gonna tell you, we wait for all kinds of less important things when we really want them. And so it's possible, it's doable. We can honor God. It doesn't mean you should walk around with a sign on your head that says waiting till marriage. I think once you get into the conversation and you actually find a viable candidate, that's something that you could talk about if they're willing to do. And if they're not, then we have to respect that and be okay with it as well. But also knowing that waiting to have sex doesn't mean not being intimate in any way. It doesn't mean being cold. He should be able to tell that there's intimacy between you without you breaking into sexual immorality. And that is like probably a detailed conversation that I just kind of like tipped under right now. But there's a difference between being cold and not knowing how to be intimate at all, and just full on acting like you're in a covenant every time you are attracted to somebody and just jumping in bed with them. So there's a lot of room in between there, and room for discussion about how can you be intimate with someone. Like, how can you open your heart? How can you be physically intimate without being sexually intimate? Because you actually can't. Also, I see my husband talking about why you yanking my guests. Let me tell you something, sir. I'm pretty sure Christina was my friend before she was your friend. I don't know. Maybe it was same time because we were married. That's not the point. That's my girl. She has a lot to say to Future Wives Club. So I'm gonna bring her on. Yeah, I love my husband. And I'm looking forward to having her share that testimony next week, and maybe we can even, ask some questions and get some answers about what that looks like, as she's done it more recently. So yeah, when it comes to the trophy husband, I want to say I love a good Hallmark movie as much as anybody else. What you watching? Netflix, Hallmark, you know what I mean? All the romantic comedies, they're amusing, but at the end of the day, it's so easy to develop a picture of a man in our mind that we become unwavering about, that doesn't match any man in reality. And we really need to just submit that stuff, man. Submit it to God, submit it to friends and family. Make sure that we're not doing to men the same thing that we don't want them to do to us, right? We don't want to be objectified, simplified to a list, compared on superficial levels to other people, when we are human beings, whole people with whole identities and whole lives and backstories and hopes and dreams and futures and gifts and abilities. And that's the same thing. That's true for every man that you meet. No, he may not be, Rico Suave that you had been imagining. Why don't you take a second and realize this is a whole human being, and not just a picture on Instagram, a whole human being who has a lot to offer. And maybe somebody who looked average to you when you first saw them, no offense, might look extremely handsome once you get to know him. That's something that all human beings have the capacity of doing, is growing and developing in the way that we see people, the way we perceive them and engage with them. So I want to say thank you for joining me tonight on the Future Wives Club. Whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, I appreciate you. You can join us here every week at 5:30 p.m. On the Future Wives Club Facebook page, Future Wives Club YouTube, you can find us at Firehouse Community Church on youtube.com, or my personal page, Kimberly Stotzer, as well as the Firehouse Community Church Facebook page, or again, the Future Wives Club on facebook.com. Love and appreciate you. Please, especially on the Facebook page, go ahead and leave comments, questions, ideas for future topics, because I heard everybody around me talking about relationships, what they wanted to know, what they wanted to do, should they get with this person or that person in the previous season. And so now that this is open, take advantage of it while it's here. So Future Wives Club usually flows in seasons. We'll be on for a while, the season will close, and then we'll come back again. And maybe I'll just release a book, just put a bunch of this stuff together. But for now, I want to say, please don't be the one that sets up an unrealistic idea of a trophy husband. And also, for you men who do have a lovely wife who married your idea of a trophy, remember this: all the time that she spent in the spa, in the nail salon, in the hair salon, rubbing all kinds of lotions and oils on herself to get that cute. If she doesn't have time to continue doing that, the look will change. So that beautiful princess you met, if you throw her in the room with all your babies and all the cleaning and all the cooking and working and taking care of you, don't look up and wonder why her appearance slightly changes after some years, okay? If you want her to keep looking that cute, then you make sure that you send her butt on to a spa, okay, a nail salon, a hair salon, because her going to the gym, her spending time being pampered is actually what made her cute in the first place. And you making sure that she keeps doing that week by week, month by month, is what's going to keep her looking good for you. Okay. So if the budget doesn't allow for that and it's demand, don't be surprised if her looks fade. That's all I'm saying. I just want to put that out there. I feel like it's a public service announcement, and it's here for all men. Please feel free to copy that snippet and share it with any wonderful husband that needs to understand why his wife sometimes look like his mother. I love you. Have a wonderful Monday evening. Come back at 6:30 and join Pastor Nick for Meditation Monday. He will be on with my friend, thank you, Christina Vidal Mitchell. I don't know what they're talking about, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.